Hi, my name is Anwar Spur. I play football for Syracuse University, and I'm majoring in sociology.
And my name is Kyra Wood, and I'm on the Syracuse women's basketball team, and my major is television, radio, and film.
Perfect. So, can you talk about your transition to college as a student athlete?
It was very hard because it was different. Because college is basically you have to be responsible for going to school in different classes at certain times. In high school versus it's like you have class back to back and you're already in school, so then you just go to practice. But college is more like adult life, and you have to do things on your own. You have to wake up for class by yourself. You get breaks in between class, and you're responsible for going to your next class if it's within an hour or two. So it was kind of hard for me because I was used to my mom waking me up.
Thank you. Kyra, can you talk about your transition to college as a student athlete?
Similar to Anwar, I feel like it was difficult just because of like the independency that you have to like face when you go to college and the difference between high school and college. For me, I left like far away from home, so I really didn't have like anybody close to um, anybody close to me to kind of rely on. So I was kind of starting a kind of a whole new life, a whole new chapter of my life. In Philadelphia, and then I ended up transferring back to Syracuse. And it was definitely a difference with my family being closer and having more of a community closer to me. But yeah, it's definitely a hard transition, being independent and really having yourself to fall back on.
Okay, thank you both for those answers. I guess my next question for both of you is: did you know about the financial aspects that came with being a student athlete in the university, and how did you handle slash adjust to them?
I think for me, being in a like mid-major school to start out with, we didn't have like um, a stipend as large as maybe bigger school or CBS schools. So I had a really hard time like trying to navigate like how much to spend on groceries or like extracurricular things or like stuff I wanted just for like a random day, a random like I don't want to cook kind of day. It was kind of hard for me starting out, but then I think when I transferred here, having a little more financial freedom and my stipend going up because of the like caliber of the school, I think I kind of backed off on like paying attention to little stuff like budgeting and like how much I'm going to spend on this, how much I'm going to spend on this. Like it kind of just came like a little easier to me because I had the money to do it.
For you, Omar?
For me, it was different. I wasn't used to getting a check every month, so when I used to see the money, I would probably save like $200, not much, but like I would save 200 and then probably just spend the rest of my money like recklessly, not knowing that I had to save. I felt like I did that because I just wasn't used to getting that amount of money like every month. So I was just sometimes I would eat out a lot, knowing that I had it, saying it's just like $20 and stuff like that. And I would buy clothes and shoes just because I wasn't used to it. But after a while, I learned I think my second year in college, I started to save more money because I understood that everything I was doing, it was really like just like a time thing. It was like a time period thing. Like the things that I was buying really wasn't gonna matter in like 5 years. So that's really it.
That's perfect. That segues perfectly into my next question. I'm asking you both: do you budget? How do you budget? And what's the most important thing you'd say you have to know in order to budget correctly as a student athlete?
I would say I save more than I spend. Before I spend anything, when I get paid, I usually put something in my savings. And I do that every month when I get paid. I'm actually starting to think about making a third savings where I put like a small amount from like splitting my check like three ways. Probably like 50-50, not probably like 40-40, and then put like 20% up in another savings. But yeah, and I don't really spend much, and I try to get groceries to save money because eating out can take your money. It might not seem like it, but it does. Yeah, that's how I budget.
If you don't mind me asking, as a follow up, did you come up with that budgeting on your own, or was there some kind of financial literacy course provided for you as an athlete?
There was a financial literacy course provided, but it wasn't really necessarily telling me how to save. Like with my checks to checks, it was telling me how to like save or what to invest in, like credit and things like that, and like future references. It was just trying to help me when I make it to the league or when I get a career on how to save. But I came up with the splitting my check halfway and saving every month.
Perfect, thank you. Um, and then for Kyra, do you budget? How do you budget? And what's the most important thing you'd say you have to know in order to budget correctly as a student athlete?
I think as I've gotten older, I've realized that these like monthly checks that we're getting aren't gonna come all of our lives, and so the biggest thing for me is to put enough away. Like how Anwar said, like he put away 200 or something, not a lot. Like I've upped that tremendously since I started like getting those monthly checks, because like he said, like it wasn't like a normal thing growing up to get checks every month. So like putting away a certain amount every month and making sure I have that. Even extra checks that I get, I always put a certain amount away from it, more than 50% of it, so that I have that, because when I get out of college, I need that little kind of pillow to get me going and get me to my next step until I get to that career or whatever I want to get to. Budgeting, though, I don't know that I budget. I think my biggest thing is putting away that money for my savings. I am cautious in how I spend my money, though. Like if I go grocery shopping, I'll try to eat out like maybe twice a week instead of like 3 or 4 or something like that. It's easier though, because most times for athletes, most meals are provided, especially during the season. Like in season, they can't not feed us, so most of that is provided, so I don't have to worry about too much groceries or going out, because I've already eaten from the food that they've given us, so that helps a lot and saves money in my pockets. But I don't think that I necessarily budget and say like this amount goes towards this amount goes towards this, and this amount goes towards this. It's just like savings and what I can spend.
Perfect, thank you. So I have 2 more questions for you. Can you both kind of talk about what NIL is, and also talk about the brand deals that come with it and the financial freedom that it's given you?
NIL is name, image, and likeness, and it came out, I want to say my freshman year it started being a big thing, and I remember specifically saying to my parents, like, I'm not going to worry about it, like, I'm just going to focus on, like, trying to get better, trying to do this, trying to do that, trying to get minutes and all that stuff, but it became something that you couldn't really ignore, and it became something that is, like, a bargaining point for a lot of athletes to come to these schools. It's helped us in a lot of ways. We get those monthly checks, but I mean, you want to have that little freedom to put away some more money or spend a little bit more money if you want to do something nice or whatever. So it's given us a lot of freedom in that aspect. But it depends on how you can market yourself and how you can put yourself out there. I think is one of the biggest things. Connections is one of the biggest things. Networking. With your coaches or just your players, is something that people are still navigating, and I don't think everybody has the answers for NIL currently. I know a lot of people think that NIL is just for like the flashiest person or the person that is most known on the team, or like the person that gets the most like acknowledgments and media time and all this stuff. But NIL comes in many different forms, and I think that the more people navigate it, the more people will know about it and really expand on opportunity that it's given us.
Thank you. Do you have anything to add on that?
Going off what Kyra said, it's like, yeah, you have to navigate it to really understand it. Like, I'm still trying to understand it, because I feel like it depends on like the area you in, and like the businesses. They have to like want to put their money into you or invest into you, or to feel like you're a great player. And I feel like it goes off of sometimes who you know, because based on what she said, like having connections to get you with NIL and to get you more NIL deals, because it goes off of your image and likeliness. So like if you're like the players, like a team's best player, you will probably get like the most NIL, because you're the most seen, the media puts you out, and stuff like that. And Yeah, I got to do more research on NIL. I'm not too up to date about it. I know some about it, but I'm not too much up to date because we just started NIL, so I'm still learning.
Thank you. I know we already touched on this a little bit, but I kind of want to go back if you guys have anything to add. Are you granted like any financial literacy courses by the university as a student athlete? Have they been helpful? And do you think they would be more helpful if they haven't already been granted to you?
Every year, the football teams, we get a meeting with people who talk to us about financial literacy, and they tell us like what to invest, things to invest in, good investments you can make, how to use your credit, the value of like a credit score, the things you can do with a credit score and stuff like that. And we just talk about that every year, and then we ask questions about what would be good investments or things we can put our money in for 10 years or 20 years to see it like add up for like your retirement. So yeah, I think we should have more classes though, because sometimes like if you do something every year, I feel like you can forget some things like over the year. So yeah, I think it should be like either twice a year or probably 3 times a year, just to remind you.
Thank you.
I think that I agree with Anwar. Like, there should be more classes, and I think specifically for our team, like we have like 15 kids on our team, so like somebody could work with our team individually and talk to us about stuff like credit score, like investments and stuff like that. Because we don't have a meeting like that. I think the most we've done is maybe, you know what, we did have a meeting last year, but we didn't have a meeting this year, and it was just vaguely touched upon. It wasn't like really in depth. And then who wants to talk about your financial stuff in front of everybody? So like it's kind of like a personal thing that I think should be addressed more, because it's not like we're taught it in high school. And I think college is the best way to start that kind of conversation, especially with athletes, with them having a little bit more at their hands to kind of deal with.
Thank you. The last question that I have for you both is, what is something you would tell an incoming student athlete about budgeting?
I think I would tell them about, I wouldn't say anything about budgeting because I don't necessarily do it, but I would say like maybe you don't blow all your money away like Anwar did. I think that yes, like you get all this money and you're like really excited and you really want to, oh my God, like I have this money, I can spend it, I can do this, I can do that. But there's so many ways to use that money and probably get more out of it in the future if you just like know a little bit more about it and have a financial literacy class or have something like that at your fingertips. So I think the biggest thing would be save. It's okay that it's sitting there and it's not doing anything and there's so much money in there and you just want to do something. It's okay to just let it sit, because you can use that money in so many other ways instead of just buying whatever the first thing you see. You're going out to eat all the time and kind of being reckless with it. So not to throw you under the bus or anything, Anwar.
Nah, it's okay. I would say, because I know how I felt when I first got the money, I would say be smart about it, but enjoy it a little. But be smart about it. Like, because some people come from, like, their parents don't really teach them about it. So it's like, once they get it, it's like they haven't had it and they're not used to it, so they just blow it. But I think people should save money because, like, if you just think about right now, and it's like, I'm trying to think of a word. I don't know. It's just like you trying to. It's like you enjoying the moment instead of like thinking about the future or what you can do with the money in the future. But yeah, I think they should make a savings. I usually tell all my freshman athletes to make a savings when they first get to college and put like half their checks up and tell them like it's not going anywhere. The same shoes are gonna be there that you want and the same clothes. But like if you blow your money, the money's not gonna be there. Even though money come and goes, you should stack it.
Thank you. Thank you guys so much for talking with me. I appreciate it a lot.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.